Hey y'all, I'm back with another Legacy video, and today, for the first time in a long time, I am playing Painter on the channel. It's only the second Painter video I've ever done, and I'm very excited today to play this list. This is a challenge-winning list by the player Sakuragi, who won a Legacy challenge on Magic Online with this exact 75 card list, and there's a lot of excitement right now about Painter as an archetype because of the combo of classic legacy card Goblin Welder and new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles card Sewer-Veillance Cam. So this card is really neat. It's a 1-mana common, and it allows you to untap your Welder when it enters the battlefield and leaves the battlefield. And so what that means is that Sewer-Veillance Cam plus any artifact in the graveyard is an infinite combo with Goblin Welder. And so you can get infinite mana. You can use Legion Extruder to shock your opponent to death infinitely, or you can draw your entire deck with Melded Moxite and win through any number of combinations. You can even manually grind someone with Grindstone, though that sounds very laborious. I will say this deck is going to be a lot of clicks. I did one test league with it, and I had an opponent who conceded about halfway through a combo for me, and it is pretty click intensive. So I'm not super averse to that. I played Alurin a lot on the channel with a Sakuragi, and that takes a lot of clicks. You can get your storm count up to like 90 before winning sometimes. So this is going to be something similar. I'll talk a little bit more about the list. So it's a classic Painter Grindstone combo. It's got Chaos Defiler that you can sort of cheese into play turn 2 and take over the game that way. In the sideboard, there's 4 copies of this card, Ravenous Trap, that you might not have seen before. It's basically anti-oops technology, or a way to beat fast graveyard decks specifically. And Painter is always soft to decks that can win on turn 1 or turn 2. So it's going to be very important to have something that can handle those decks. There's a couple copies of Blood Moon. I always love basically locking someone out of the game with a Blood Moon or Magus. Only 2 copies, so kind of keeping that sane, but very cool nonetheless. Disruptor Flute. This is sort of the Swiss Army knife of the sideboard. You can name Thassa's Oracle after your opponent casts a Doomsday, or you could just name Wasteland or something like that, or Tamiyo. So there's lots of different applications for this card, both against combo and fair decks. I've never been super great using this card, but hopefully I'll find some good spots in this. There's a Haywire Might. You need green mana to activate it, but you can use Mox Opal or Lotus Petal to get that green mana. And then the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles card is actually in the main deck. That's Skateboard. Skateboard is definitely perceived as an upgrade over Lava Spur Boots, and I agree with that. The ability to tap down a blocker is really important, and Ward 1 just isn't that great, especially because you can typically like swords some creature or remove a creature in response to the activation. So Ward 1 sometimes is pretty useless. There's only 3 Pyroblasts. That's something I have some reservation about in this list. So one of the appeals of playing Painter is that you should, by default, have a really great blue matchup because you have so many Pyroblast effects. So to only have 3 is a bit of a concession to those matchups. You're also losing some ground in the Dimir matchup because this deck is very dependent on Goblin Welder. And so where in the past, if I was playing against Painter as Dimir, I might board out my Orcish Bowmasters, assuming they're going to board out their Goblin Welders. But now I would definitely leave those in because one of the ways that this wins is by drawing your whole deck with Goblin Welder. So you just get rid of the Welder right away or don't let them draw the cards. So the trade-off for that is explosiveness. This deck can win as early as turn 2. And you can even do it through like a Null Rod, through a Collector Oof. So there's a lot of reason to be excited about this deck. And Painter is very near and dear to my heart, but it's really needed an upgrade for quite a long time. And it seems like these cards are that upgrade. So without further ado, let's get into some games and see how this league goes. All right, I'm on the play. On the draw rather in match 1. This is a pretty unexciting hand. It's very flooded and doesn't really have a route to doing anything. I'm pretty sure my opponent plays Sneak and Show or Omnitel, some show and tell deck. And I have to say that the Sewer Cam strategy really fixes that matchup because you don't have to win through an Emrakul, which will shuffle your library after you grindstone combo. So I'm going to mulligan this. This is much better. I'll probably... I might just get rid of the Cam. It's either the Pedal or the Cam, but if I get rid of Pedal, I can't cast Cam for quite a while, and I don't have Welder, so Cam isn't great. It's really not as good with Goblin Engineer because you have to pay the mana to activate. I'm going to put back Sewer-Veillance Cam, despite that being the new hot card. Alright, my opponent's cracking a fetch land right away, and a Tamiyo. Well, that's probably going to eat the Pyroblast. I would really hate for them to get a show and tell off after that, but also there's not a lot of show and tell decks that play this, so I could just be wrong about what they're playing. I'll play out the Pedal because I don't want my Pyroblast getting dazed and attempt to kill this Tamiyo. Now this Engineer is going to be pretty bad as well. In fact, my whole hand is going to crumble if they have a Wasteland. Okay, so I don't think this is show and tell at all. Probably just some sort of Azorius. All right, I think I'll actually play Melded Moxite because I want to find another land, and then I can definitely dump this Chaos Defiler. Okay, no land. Goblin Welder is good. And if I can't make constructs, then going like Welder plus Engineer could be a good consolation. I don't love my position, though. If this is somehow show and tell right here, I'll put an Engineer. Stock up. Okay. I'm starting to suspect it could be like a blue-white show and tell, just some sort of list I haven't quite seen before. All right, the land is nice. This also gives me a route. Well, actually, this deck doesn't have main deck Soul Guide Lanterns, so there's not a great way to win. I could get Cauldron, and Cauldron could exile the Emrakul, but I would have to grind them twice. I'm going to play out Goblin Welder. If this resolves, I'm in a pretty good spot, and show and tell really isn't a concern anymore. Okay, Force of Will on this. This still leaves the door open for... Okay, I'm pitching Force of Negation. I think rather than blow this Pedal to make one construct, I will play a Painter. And I'm going to operate under the assumption that this is not show and tell. It would be definitely a list I have not seen before, in colors I haven't seen before. However, if it is some sort of control deck, the thought of them having swords is pretty likely. Okay. There's a Tamiyo. That's fine. My best draw is a Pyroblast. I'm going to go for it. I can make a construct next turn. They didn't shuffle off the Ponder. So they're definitely confident that they're not going to lose here because they knew that this was on the table. So I kind of want the information, though. That'll be very helpful to see what to do with Goblin Engineer. So I'll play out Furnace, and I will activate. It could just get swords. This could be like a Dreadnought deck. That's my other thought. Okay, yeah, I suspect it's some sort of Dreadnought deck. Okay, it is. They have Omniscience, they have Atraxa. So with that in mind, I think I want to get this Engineer down and still go for Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And the reason I want to go for Agatha's Soul Cauldron is I have that Welder in my graveyard. And so I can get this in play, turn this into a Goblin Welder, or turn, if I draw land, I could turn a construct into a Goblin Welder, give it haste with Skateboard. I did kind of leave the coast clear, though, for a little bit. They have a window to really wreck me here. And so maybe with that in mind, I should have not played the engineer. But let's see. I don't feel favored in this particular game. Okay. They appear to be flooding out. Okay, there's a land. So I'm going to make a construct. Unfortunately, I actually can't get the cauldron in right now. So I don't need to get skateboard. I should get mox opal. And I'll play the tomb. And I'm just going to hold this up rather than play fable. Because I need to get my engineer. I need to get that cauldron into play. That's really how I plan to do anything here. And then cauldron can get defiler, or rather, whatever creature I turn into a welder can get defiler. And then we're just kind of off to the races from that point. I have to dodge a swords again. And they're drawing 2 a turn, so that's really good for them. Flipping Tamiyo, that's not a huge concern. The huge concern is them comboing right now or having removal. And I think both of those are pretty likely. So even though I can probably win the game without casting another spell, so if their hand is a bunch of counter spells, it'll be all right. This is a pretty precarious situation. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this grindstone, I think, or maybe get rid of the moxite, actually. I wish I had one more creature in the yard. I'll exile the welder now. And actually, something that's pretty sweet here is they have a creature in the yard. They have Atraxa and Tamiyo. So even if this gets swords tier and I never get to turn this into a welder, I can turn my... Okay, looks like I'm untapping. Amazing. Okay, I feel very favored now. And drawing bridge is great. I'm not sure what their out will be for that. So I actually can just kill the Tamiyo right now, potentially. I can, with Cauldron, I can turn the engineer into a welder at any point because they all get those abilities. So I think I'm going to attack and try to kill the Tamiyo. All right, Tamiyo is down. And then I'm going to cast this Fable. Tap like this. My life total is very plentiful, so I'm not super concerned about losing some life. But I definitely still want to hold up a red. I guess I don't really need to do that actually because Cauldron is such a cool card. Like I can tap colorless now to activate Engineer. All right, I'm a little shocked that they cycled Lorien when they could have. They're just super flooded. Like why not draw 3? Maybe they're afraid of Pyroblast. Stock up. It's fine. If they show Intel, I can put in the bridge. Orum's Chant. That's fine. I don't need to cast any spells here. Swords this right now. That's also quite good. So I do think I should get this Defiler into play because yeah, just having it seems better than not. I'll also net a life off this, so I'll get rid of this Atraxa. And it's a shame I couldn't have stapled an activated ability on Atraxa. At that point, why not? And then I'm going to get rid of the Grindstone and get Defiler. They could Swords the Defiler as well, and that would be a blowout. But it's going to be pretty hard to lose the game with Defiler in play. Like, even if they Emrakul me somehow through the bridge, I have Defiler. Okay, Omniscience is really good. And yeah, there's an Atraxa. There's a Swords, so they can Atraxa again. They can Swords my Defiler. I don't know if they have an out main deck, though, to this bridge. I kind of doubt it. Maybe like a Brazen Borrower. Ponder Swords Atraxa Flooded Strand. And I cast the Ponder. Didn't shuffle. Brainstorm, sure. I mean, at this point, it's just what are your outs to the Ensnaring Bridge? And we are still playing the game, so I assume they have something. to fairy. That's pretty good. So now if they find Emrakul, I am not 100% dead. Well, they would just have to swords the Defiler. Okay, do you have Emrakul? Yes, you do. Okay, sure. All right, well, this is a brutal start. I think against this deck, I think I have enough going on that I can just completely get rid of Painter and Grindstone. I don't want to mess around with that at all. And I think I want these cards. Abrade hits Tamiyo. Blood Moon just locks them out of the game. Disruptor Flute can hit Show and Tell. I assume they have a bit more of a fair plan, though, because they only have the 4 Show and Tell, and I don't know what else they do that combos. So this is an instance where only the 3 Pyroblast feels like a rough spot. But I think I can leave everything else in and try it like this. I can maybe see going up on another Disruptor Flute. I'll go up on a Disruptor Flute over the Cauldron. I don't think I can mull this, but I'm pretty unexcited by it. Start with the Mountain. Hopefully they just go turn 1 Tamiyo. This is looking like a sculpting to playing Dragon Engine off of this Engineer. And I'm sure it'll just get swords. Okay, Disruptor Flute. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to hold up Disruptor Flute. Now, unfortunately, I can't hold it up forever, so I think I have to commit to probably just naming Show and Tell. I could also name Swords to Plowshares. I'll name Swords. I really need a land. Tomb is great. So this will be a very painful Goblin Engineer. But I can get Dragon Engine and hopefully start going to work that way. So Dragon Engine, I'll be able to draw 3. And my hand is pretty bad, so I really hope this turn they like go for Show and Tell and it gets hit by Pyroblast. Okay, so I don't think this turn I can afford to drop the Dragon Engine. I just have so much going on. I have my combo. I think this turn I'm going to play another Engineer. And then potentially next turn, I would trade these cards for something. And this time I'm just going to get probably Bridge. Maybe Moxite. I already have the draw effect, so I'll get Bridge. And then I will hold up Engineer. All right, well, now my opponent can tap out to Swords if they want. Orum's Chance. That's really annoying. But fine. I get to put in Defiler if they Show and Tell, so I have this covered pretty well. You got it. And this creates a trigger so they can't cast... sweet, I win. They can't cast sorcery speed stuff. So Defiler really does help this matchup quite a lot. And that was... I was thankful to be patient with Dragon Engine there. And I was starting to lose track in my mind of how good my hand was against Show and Tell because of Defiler. I don't think I want any changes on the draw. I could maybe see Skateboard leaving for like Needle or Flute. I think I'll leave it as is though. All right, well, this is an obvious mulligan here. And this hand similarly isn't very good, but I'll keep it. Without the Welder, I'll just bottom the Cam. All right, they're starting with Ponder. I can turn 1 Flute named Show and Tell. They did shuffle. And there's a question here about the timing of the Flute. Do I play around Force of Negation or do I play around Consign to Memory? And I think the answer is play around Consign. If I let them untap, they could consign this. But Force of Negation would at least be a 2-for-1. I think they're digging for lands if I had to guess. And they shuffle and pass, yeah. All right, so I think the plan here is just start constructs. I don't think I need to worry about Pyroblasting anything on the next turn. So I want to get them dead ASAP. And now I'm pretty happy I still have Skateboard in my deck. And they pass again. And then I wonder what I should do here. Ooh, surgical getting binned. Super happy I bought him that cam now that I have another one. I think there's a less than 50% chance I'm going to have to cast this Pyroblast on the next turn, so I'm going to play Wooded Foothills and hope to surveil. I get burnt though if I have to cast Pyroblast because I would prefer to have that as a surveil land. And oh yeah, I was going to say, if they don't find the action this turn, it's probably going to be the game. And yeah, they scooped. I might play like 1 or 2 more turns, but given that I took away their combo, like there's nothing a blue deck could do to come back from all these constructs, minus like a dress down if they had it. So yeah, sweet. Match 1 win versus show and tell. Awesome. All right, I'm on the draw. I'm pretty sure my opponent plays like degenerate stuff. This is not the best hand against degenerate stuff. It's looking like a turn 3 activate Goblin Engineer at best sort of hand. But there's a route to winning via grindstone combo. I'll just keep it. Planar Nexus. And a needle. I really doubt this is going to hit. Sometimes people blind name Grindstone against me, which is fair. He usually gets punished, but yeah, name's Wasteland. So let's see. Ooh, what a draw. What a draw. That changes everything. I guess they've named Wasteland, so I can get a Valk. I'll play out the Petal and play out Goblin Welder. Yeah, that changes everything. Because now I can get Chaos Defiler. And I think they're going to have a hard time winning through a Chaos Defiler. They could like one ring here. Okay, so they have on a Metalcraft, so they just have 2 mana up. So they can't Kozilek's command anything except a cycle effect. Petal. If I get a cam, that doesn't really do much, sadly. I think Defiler is the best thing to get, given that Dragon Engine is in my hand. I could also play out Dragon Engine, but I really don't want to ruin my active welder. I also don't want to hit this needle because if I could like weld something out, I can't weld the needle back in. They'll just needle welder. I'll play Saga out. I'll play the engineer, which resolves. I'll just get Chaos Defiler. And I just want that looming over the game. Start is so slow. I assume that next turn they could maybe, I don't even know. They could play like Tezzeret, but yeah, they're just doing nothing. They are holding up that card now. Kozilek's command. What a crazy magic card. A Pyroblast, not great. I do control a mountain, so I can put in Arena of Glory. And I think I'm going to, rather than make a construct, I'm going to play Phyrexian Dragon Engine. And I'm not worried about attacking with it this turn, but the reason why I want to do that is I don't even have another artifact in the graveyard. So the best way to capitalize off of the Chaos Defiler is probably by putting Dragon Engine in the bin. At this point, I can just not even activate, just like keep this hanging over the game. I should probably just get Skateboard off of Urza's Saga, make a construct, get Skateboard. All right, so I'll make the construct, get Skateboard, tap. Guess it doesn't really matter. I'll tap the Nexus. This can make colored mana. I guess this is vaguely the best of these cards right now. I'll play Mountain first. Lotus Petal. Equip the construct and attempt to bash them for half their life total. Still holding up engineer and welder. All right, so they've been hit down to 10. I think they had what I would deem an unacceptably slow start. They really needed to make something happen here. Okay, so they're choosing to exile target creature, which I assume is just Goblin Welder, yeah, and then exile this. So they shouldn't have exiled this. They should have picked any other mode other than that, because I can counter that mode. Weld out Dragon Engine, weld in Defiler. I'll get to kill the Pithing Needle, which matters very little. Then here's an important question, which is I don't know if I should Dragon Engine now to draw 3. By doing that, I tap myself out of interaction because I can get the Defiler trigger. I think that's worth it, even though my hand is pretty dead. I think I need to hold up interaction for whatever it is they could do. Like if they can Karn or something like that, I want to be able to kill that. The worst case scenario would be like Karn into Bridge or something. Admittedly, Defiler could still handle that, but yeah, I feel like I can't lose with this board state. So rather than get greedy on the card advantage, I'm just going to maintain the board state, hold up interaction, and hold up the card advantage. All right, my opponent can make a blocker, so I can't really kill them next turn. But if they tap out of One Ring, yeah, that's good. That'll keep them alive for sure. You got it. So I'm going to get the Dragon Engine back. I have to sack the Cradle, and then I think I'll sack the Skateboard. I can always get the Skateboard back if I draw a Welder, for instance. And in this situation, I'll probably draw more cards off this Dragon Engine than they will off this One Ring, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Wow. Please, I need a Welder. Welder off top. Okay, I'm going to start with Moxite. And I'm going to play the Foothills out and get a basic mountain because I think I want to leave the arena just in case I get a Welder. And I want to have blue up for Cam, so I think I have to play this out. I'm experiencing some lag. If you see this little circle here in the bottom left, it slows everything down. Thankfully, everything's going pretty quickly here. Though, I think comboing off with this deck is going to take some time. And then I think I can just discard the Cam. Fable is not bad. I no longer think I can win this turn, though. I really needed to find Welder. I will use my mana, and I will Moxite one more time. And it's too late for Fable, I think, to matter. So I can discard it. There's Cauldron, which I can't use yet, and really isn't very good. So I have to pass because they have protection. But I like my chances in this. Their next turn, though, could get pretty wild. So, like, they can get a key, so they can draw more stuff off the One Ring. Mana is a bottleneck for them. But I also could use this Skateboard to tap down a permanent at some point. So that's something I need to keep in mind. That's I could like sack the Defiler, get Skateboard. All right, my Magic Online crashed, but I'm back. Let's see what my opponent can do. I can Skateboard to tap something down, but I think bare minimum they should be able to draw like 5 cards off that One Ring. And I don't think I can Skateboard to do anything about it. I could probably do best to tap down one of these lands before it can tap for a bunch of mana. That's probably my best play. So I'll let this happen. I think it has to get a key. I think they have to go absolutely ham this turn. Candelabra. So I can actually tap down the Candelabra now. I think that's my best play. Or I can tap down one of these and kill the Candelabra. So I'll do that. So kill the Candelabra, tap down an Urza's Workshop, and that should pretty well tap them down. I think they needed to go for, what do you call it? I think they needed to go for a key there. Skateboard, tap down Workshop, and then I can have 6. Skateboard is a pretty cool card. I think the aesthetics of it, the flavor is super cringe, but it's a cool enough card, and I think I've matured enough as a person and Magic player to just appreciate cool cards like that. If they have another One Ring, it's going to be really annoying. I can draw a bunch of cards next turn myself. Ooh, wow. Wiping my board. That's pretty good. Bridge. So I can Moxite. I can Dragon Engine, but that's not quite lethal. I think maybe the plan should be to play Moxite, maybe spike a Welder. I'll get rid of the bridge. I really doubt they're winning in combat. Oh, that was bad. What does this thing cost? 3 mana. I think I'm just gonna hold up rather than play out Cauldron. I'm just gonna hold up the other activated or the singular activated ability of this card, and then I can maybe have lethal next turn. In fact, I will have lethal if they brick. And the way that I'll have lethal is I can escape the Dragon Engine and I can equip Skateboard. Yeah, key is good. Oh, they have lots of mana. Flesh Raker. I could just be dead right now. I probably am. That's so unfortunate. And I'm just going to put yield until my opponent's end step. I'm going to make them click through this because I'm so close to being able to win myself that I don't think I can justify conceding to this. But I think my chances of surviving are very low. They had to have good cards in hand for how slow a start they had, and I've given them just enough time. This deck also was one of the big thorns in the side of Painter for a while, and the popularity of this deck, I think, was what was making Painter kind of unplayable. I am dead here. But it's been pretty gone. I have barely seen this deck, and so it's a bit of a tilt to run into this the very first time I played Painter. Actually, this is the second league I've played Painter, but nevertheless, I've dodged this deck like it's nowhere to be found. I'm just going to scoop. Well, I'll make him think about it. Got to get this time a little more even. Also, a small bit of gamesmanship is like, I like making people put in mental effort because we only have so much mental effort, so that could mean a mistake later on. Lots of good cards though here. Definitely want to start with getting rid of the Pyroblasts. Get rid of Soul Cauldron. Get rid of Ensnaring Bridge. Probably I want to reduce my exposure to Karn by getting rid of some of these cards. I'll get rid of Skateboard. I want Needle and the Flutes. Those are like the best cards. Blood Moon can be decent. Abrade can be decent. But let's see what the other cuts are. Maybe just Fable. Fable's like kind of slow. I'll try this. I think if I can turn 2 them, I'll be in good shape. And I want to leave the Painter in because it can turn off Glaring Flesh Raker. Yeah, keep this. So I think with Melded Moxite, this is a turn 2. Just draw the whole deck. Then shock them out. So this has to be Volk. Or it's not a turn 2 because I have to I would have to draw an artifact I could pay 1 generic or less for. Or find a second source of mana, which would be the same. It'd be Lotus Petal, so that's probably my best draw. All right. I can abrade that this turn. That's probably the thing to do. Though that puts me in the same predicament. They also could just command here. Okay, they didn't. So this is a tough spot. I think holding up a braid is the best thing I could do. I could play painter. I think I'm just going to hold up a braid. I think it's very likely they can remove my welder. All right, well, if we made it this far, I'm going to abrade the monolith. They would be wise to command right now. Okay. That's sweet. I think my best case scenario is they tap out for Flesh Raker. Okay, there's a Flesh Raker. And a Candelabra. That's good. I can have 6. So they can play one more thing here. I mean, they could still go nuts. They could like Candelabra, untap this, go Grim Monolith, be off to the races. Technically, my welder could weld in the monolith for something, so I don't want to F6 here. But it looks like nothing is happening. Come on, any mana source. Dragon Engine, terrible. So I think I play the painter and pass. This shuts off the Flesh Raker. Just name blue. Doesn't really matter what color I name. And then I can end step play Cam. Karn is fine. Unfortunately, that can probably needle welder. Let's see what they get. Liquid metal coating. That's also quite annoying, but I can weld this out. Ah, and a crypt. It's pretty annoying they just had the crypt from hand. I'll weld this out though, because I think I can play around all of this. Like I can just be a little patient and play around the crypt, but playing around the coating is going to be really tough. I hate giving them a monolith here, because then if they have Kozilek's command, they just got me. And I'll play the cam. I'll probably just tap down the Flesh Raker, because I welded this out for a reason. I don't want to weld it back in. And obviously, if I just drew a land, it wouldn't matter about this crypt, or rather the coating. But I'm at least going to make it a difficult decision to like make it so they can't tap down the Karn. Blood Moon. Blood Moon's pretty good. That's probably what I should do. So I'll attack Karn. I'll play Blood Moon. So the goal here, I really want them to minus the Karn, like for a 1-ring or something like that. And then I can put the coating back in for the crypt. That would be the dream scenario. So if I can convince them to -2 and lose the Karn, I should be able to win. Oh, Needle. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that's fine. I can't give them back. Choose Goblin Welder, sure. Well, I do have Engineer. So the game goes on. Sadly, they have this monolith, but I think I'm unfavored. Missing on lands was really the story of this game. I don't think I've drawn a single land in, I guess just 3 draw steps. Okay, they sacked the Karn now. But now that they have this Needle, this is probably a more okay play. Key. Okay. They must have some bomb in their hand, like maybe Ugin. Another Karn. Okay. So if they tick down and get... I don't know if I really have an out to them getting Mycos and Platis. Okay. A braid is good. So what I would do is I would float the mana. I could also, if I could abrade the needle here, there's still nothing good to get. Ah, that's so sad. I need to draw like another one after that. And they can even just like crypt themselves and get the thing back. Again, just missing on mana. It's so tragic. I guess I'll attack the Karn here. They just block with Flesh Raker, but yeah, that was a blowout. I didn't think about the double block. That was stupid. Yeah, that's fine. It probably doesn't matter that much, but they're going to start getting stuff off of this Flesh Rakers. That was a really stupid punt on my end. So now they'll undoubtedly get Mycosynth Lattice. It's actually probably correct to minus and hit the Karn. Or abrade the Karn, because it'll be an artifact. All right, you get a Lattice. Desk. I think what they needed to do was play around this by activating that Karn right then. So I feel very unfavored from this position, but if I do happen to find another abrade for the needle, maybe I'll have a chance. So we're both kind of top decking from here, but my life total is low. There's still a matter of this crypt, even if I manage what I was talking about. Well, there's finally a land. I guess I will play out the dragon engine to stop the bleeding. I can't have them attacking me. And the engineers are still kind of shut off by the crypt. So I can attack with Welder. If they just draw lands from here, like if they brick, I can win. But they have chump blockers for days, so I think this is highly unlikely. Yep, Earth Mishra's research desk. It looks like maybe Monolith and Key is what they found. Ooh, Tezzeret. I feel like that's probably game. But I still don't think you can find anything that wins outright. But they'll be able to defend this, no doubt, until they can minus it. All right, so they portable hole. There's nothing really relevant they can portable hole. It's fine. Another cam. I guess I'll play Goblin Engineer. And just get like a dead card out of my deck. I can't attack. I think I'm pretty dead here. They just minus, get something else, or at any point if they have a Kozilek's command. This looks like that's what's happening. Forge. I'm going to scoop to the Forge. I think you got me. Yeah, this is the deck to dodge if you're playing Painter. You saw how slow a start they got game one and how I thought strong a start I had, and it was all meaningless. And then game two, they just had all the interaction. So pretty rough. All right, I'm on the draw for third match. This hand's fine. A little choked on mana, but there's a lot of mana to draw to. And while I think keeping a one-lander is pretty irresponsible on Painter, I think you have to be comfortable keeping a two-lander. I wish it was more stable, though. Urza Saga doesn't look good in this hand. All right, some sort of green deck. Pyroblast doesn't look great. I do like the Scalding Tarn, though. It's a nice way to camouflage what's going on over here. Another Mock Site is just okay. All right, looks like Cradle control. It's fine. They have a lot of mana next turn. And a white. Not looking good here. The white represents graveyard hate. Could also represent wasteland. I don't know if I can play around that at this point. I need to try to high roll. Sewer-Veillance Cam to the bin. Though now the jig is certainly up. Another engineer. I think I need to try to get lucky off this Mock Site. Ditch the Pyroblast. I think the plan is try to find lands and maybe have Painter Grindstone up at some point. Though the white can also deal with that. And they could have Endurance in hand. Could be worse, but I'm not loving it. And I'm only going to play out the Mox Opal if I can tap it for mana this turn. Okay, there's the lands, so that's good. I'm not going to play out Opal because they could get an oof, and then it's just sitting there dead. I could also just be dead this turn to Greater Hoof Behemoth, so. Okay. Okay, what's your last card? Is it Hoof? Or is it Natural Order? It looks like it. Okay, they're getting Collector. I can handle this. Another Pyroblast. I might want to keep Pyroblast around, though. I think I want to play Fable. Now I really want to see Painter. It's still pretty bad, though, with the white. The white really is going to make my life hard. I could be dead here very, very soon. Shaman is probably a chump blocker. Next turn, they're liable to just attack with white. Getting a Wasteland. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, that's the land I probably care the least about. Another Wasteland. It's a little more rough. See which one they go for. Okay, they go for Tomb. That was the wrong decision. I think it's a reasonable decision for them to make, but given my hand, it is the wrong one. This thing is just going to get bigger, so I'm going to save the chump block for at least a turn. Okay, Sewer-Veillance. Not the worst. I'm probably going to get rid of one Engineer and certainly Mox Opal. Sewer-Veillance can tap down white. Pretty bad. So I think this turn is when I have to play this Moxite, ditch one Cam, try to dig a little deeper. Okay. I think they can also just kill me. If they see the line, they Talon Gates, and yeah, they have lethal. So yeah, I just lined up. I should have let them cast whatever it was they were going to cast there for extra bits of information, but that just lined up incredibly poorly with my hand. I like all these cards. I like these flute effects, needle effects. I want to reduce my exposure to Collector Oof. I don't think Soul Cauldron's very good. I want to get rid of a Petal, a Furnace. Maybe I just ditch all of these cards. Yeah, I'll try that. I have to mulligan this. This hand also sucks. I'll probably ditch the Grindstone. I can at least stop their most annoying stuff. It's like Needle White right off the bat. I could Needle Wasteland, Flute White. I could like Needle White, Flute, Green Sun Zenith or something. Just bottom Grindstone. I can get that card back if I really need it. Leyline of the Void. Not bad. So I'll just Needle White. I can even just pitch the Flute with Moxite. I really need to slam this Blood Moon stat. Okay. Blood Moon is not even that good now, but it's not terrible. So I can get rid of the Cam with the Moxite. I don't really have an out to this Leyline. So they've pretty much just shut off my deck. Force of Vigor. Oh, that's incredibly brutal. Yeah. Alright, that was weird that they just fetched Dryad Arbor. Well, I'll play Grindstone. It's the only play I have. If I get a Tomb and a Painter back to back, could maybe have a game going here. I'm getting oofed. I'm just going to hold the Welder. There's no point in playing it out. I can't get rid of the Leyline. Alright, so I'll play Moxite, pitch Goblin Welder. Okay, there's a Braid, so that can hit the oof. Badger Mole. Yeah, pretty good. I think I'm just going to die too quickly to these beatdowns. This deck has no copies of Fury or anything, and that would be so good here. Okay. So next turn I take 4. I'll play the Painter out. I'll name Black in case they play Snuff out. And this will keep them from attacking with the 1/1s. Like now what they actually should probably do is either just attack with these 2 or attack for 3 with ignoble. So that's actually probably their best way to play. So Painter as a blocker is pretty strong. So now actually if I draw land and I can abrade the oof, there's a chance I could win. Yeah, so they nearly attacked with both, but this pushes more damage. So I take 3 Moxite. Is it better to Moxite or Engineer? Engineer thins the deck and chumps. It'll also make them think twice about attacking. Well, it really shouldn't. Or I could just abrade and pray that I draw a land. Because it looks like they're attacking with Mole. And that's correct. Because I don't really care about this, I care about this. So this is what I would remove. If I Moxite, draw land, I would have to then, yeah, I don't think I can Moxite. So I think I'm gonna pass, abrade oof, and I just know I'm gonna draw land. Endurance. That's pretty bad for me. I think that means they have lethal. Like they just swing out now and it doesn't matter. See if they see the line. I mean, I can stay alive if they swing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll go to 1. I'll block here, abrade here. They go to 1. And all right, I drew the land. Let's go. It's correct to wait till upkeep here, but it just doesn't matter because I'm dead no matter what. So it looks like their out is either their hand is Endurance or Orcish Bowmasters. And if they have that, I'm dead. Oh my god. Oh, what a win that was. I told you there'd be a land on top of my deck. I feel like I'm almost always right when I say stuff like that. I was due for a land there. I was really struggling to get it, but on 1 life, any fetch land or ancient tomb was shut off, so that was pretty brutal. Nice that they showed me their deck too. That's pretty sweet. They do have hoof. I don't know what to think about those ley lines. It maybe makes me think I need Pyroblasts in the deck, but I don't know if this deck can really board out of this stuff. I'll bring in the blasts and I'll take out the stuff that's like most dependent on the graveyard. I'll take out Skateboard. I don't know. Maybe Skateboard could be good though. Now notice I did board out a lot of my mana. So when I was talking about struggling on mana, Extruder can hit oof, so I don't want to take that out. I don't think I want to take Dragon Engine out. I can't take out the grindstones. I'll maybe trim 1 welder and 1 engineer. I hate doing that. This deck is really... Maybe I should have taken out a cam, actually. But, alright, this is okay. I might need to flute a Wasteland. And they're on 62 cards. And I'm going to have 6. Another nice thing about playing Painter is you don't have to pretend that you're holding stuff up. Okay, birds. Probably just go Mountain Go. If their plan is oof, I have that covered. Yeah, and I can beat that as well. And the bog is already gone. I can just abrade the white and hold the flutes. Abrade maybe needs to hit oof. But if this feels like a rare opportunity to get rid of this card, I don't know. My worst fear is Natural Order. Force of Vigor would be really rough here as well. But I'll make them show it to me. I wouldn't mind them being down to 2 cards. So we'll offer them that trade. Okay, no Force of Vigor. And no Wasteland either. Sewer-Veillance. Pretty bad. I think I have to make constructs. I don't think I can afford Flute Natural Order when like a Gaia's Cradle would allow them to cast it very soon anyway. I just don't think I'm going to be able to keep them off of that. Offering the trade of the white. I'm not taking it though. Once Upon a Time. I like that. Ignoble. That's fine as well. Sure. Another Moxite. Getting a little heavy on the Moxites. I suppose I could needle like Boseiju or Wasteland. I could just get Grindstone. I think they very likely have Endurance. I'll just get Grindstone. I'll play out a Moxite. I could have fluted in natural order there. That was the other consideration. Get rid of this cam. Attack for 5. No blocks. Part of me thinks if they had natural order, they would have cast it already. Plus, if they have Gaia's Cradle, they can just cast it through a flute. So, what is this? Is this oof? I do not care about oof. That's fine. I really suspect they have endurance. So this engineer that I drew is probably a trap. And I don't think they have a lot of lands, because I think playing that bog out when they did was a sign of being light on lands. They would have played out a Cradle by now if they had it. They could have like double endurance or something like that. I could see that. Okay, a Furnace. Furnace is not the best. I know it buffs these guys, but I'll play out the arena. Go ahead and attack. If they don't block, I could kill them. They don't block. Do I go for lethal here? So if they have like Force of Vigor, I'm at least going to play the flute out. So if they had Snuff out, go to 10 to snuff 1 out. So that wouldn't be lethal. I don't think they have Force of Vigor, but I'm going to go for it. They could have Boseiju. So I think if they had Force of Vigor, there were just so many ample opportunities to use it already. I'm going to name Boseiju who endures. Oops, my Magic Online being kind of weird there. And I'm going to make another construct. At the very least, they would have to Force of Vigor the 2. Well, they wouldn't necessarily have to Force of Vigor the 2 attacking ones. My best guess is they just didn't play around flute. As in, they didn't suspect I would be able to get up to lethal. All right. Moment of truth here. You're doing something. Abrupt Decay. This. Okay. Now they can activate the white. Go to 2. I'm surprised they didn't activate it there. All right, I didn't play around Abrupt Decay. Not a very common legacy card. I mean, I saw their deck last game, but okay, Talon Gates, so you can get rid of my guy. Quite far away from lethal here without natural order, though. Yeah, I'll just F6. So I'm dead to natural order. Otherwise, I predict they're probably dead. Tapping black. It's not for Thoughtseize. Well, it wouldn't be good to tap it for Thoughtseize. Did you catch yourself there? No, they're actually doing something. This looks like a Green Suns for 2. You got it. For a Cub. That's pretty nice because then that'll allow them to block. And then another white. Okay. So I need to see if Skateboard is still in my deck, and it is. So this could be like an opportunity to do a Skateboard trick. They might tap down the white in response. Okay, Painter. Can I just win? So I need to think hard about this. So if I abrade the oof, they tap this down. Does it return to the battlefield tapped off of Earthbend? It does. So I can go Painter, or I can go abrade the oof, cast Painter. I'm actually 1 mana short. of being able to do that. I'm glad I did that math. So rather than do that, what I probably should do is take 2 life, make a construct, see what they do. They might activate the white in response. If they do, they might be dead. Let's see. So they'll get to phase out one of my constructs. So that happens. They're going to search for a land that's going to come into play tapped. If they have another Talon Gates, okay. I think I have them dead. Get skateboard. Tap down. Doesn't really matter. Tap down white. But this plays around removal as well. So even if their last card is Snuff Out, so then I abrade the oof. And if their last card was Snuff Out, they would die. So it doesn't really matter. Furnace. Equip. Skateboard. Combat. 3 lethal attackers, 1 blocker. Let's go. Oh my god. That was a sweaty one. But the ability to win through an oof and through whites is really nice with this deck. And if it, even though they got rid of the flute, the ability to do that for so long really is what won this game, I think. If they had been using white that whole time, I'd have no chance. So it also really pays to do the math. Like if I had done that painter line, I would have been a mana short. So yeah, Cowabunga. All right, on the play for match 4. Hand's really nice. This is a hand where you see how badly Phyrexian Devourer is missed, because you can go Engineer, Cauldron, and then Engineer just gets Devourer and you have a large blocker. I don't know if it's better to play Cauldron or play Blast. Probably Blast, though. So I'll start on the Scalding Tarn. Again, that nicely masks the deck choice. And my thought there is, like, if in the worst case scenario they were oops, Cauldron isn't really that great against oops. They can usually beat 1 exile effect. And it looks like this is going to be like a depths deck. So I feel kind of weird about getting blue here. I think I will not surveil. Actually, I can't really play around Wasteland. So, and there's the cam. I think I need to bin the cam though without Welder. Fable is nice. I don't know if it's better to Fable or Extruder. I bet I get a better Extruder target though if I wait. Like if they play a Elvish Proclaimer, that's so much better. And this can help me find Welder. I could even bin a Welder and Cauldron. Make the Shaman a Welder, so lots of opportunity here. Painter is such a cool deck. I really hope that this list helps bring back Painter in a really meaningful way. That's also something that's better. They're still going to get the weight slamming twice, though, so I can at least take it out. It might even be better to take out the Arbor. All right, Opal is a nice pickup. I definitely think I can ditch this Pyroblast. I need the land. I want the Extruder. Opal should be turned on this turn, in fact. I'll just ditch the Pyroblast. Okay, another land is nice. Let's see if they want to trade. No trades. I do think it's better to hit the Arbor. Like Bazrimol without any creatures is just a 2/2. So I'll play out Opal. I'll play the fetch land. It can just get basic mountain. Play the Extruder. Hit the Arbor. And then I could Engineer. I think the likelihood of them having swords is really high, though. So I'm going to wait and let them swords like something else. And I can always make the token here. So that could be a blowout if they attack with the Badger Mole. All right, I'm not getting wastelanded. That's amazing. They could play another cub. Maybe their plan is to just, okay, well, it's a different cub. So this will allow them to attack. That's fine. Okay, are there any creatures? There is a creature. So if I play out Cauldron pre-combat, I can attack. I'll do that. I'll play the Volk out. So now if they block, just a trade. Would have to have like a crop rotation or something like that. I'm not going to play around that. Okay, they have crop rotation. Sacking the wasteland. I already know they have thespian stage. Okay, you got me. Wonder if I need to play out the engineer. And just imagine if there was Devourer. This game would be over if I had Devourer in the deck, because then you don't even need to untap with engineer. I'll hold off on the engineer. Yep, stage. It's probably worth it to make them have something here. And this only costs 2, right? So I can make my and I can sack just a treasure token. So I guess it does cost 3. Trade here. I take 5. So bare minimum, being able to play the engineer is going to hold hostage the game. Does that do anything? Having painter? I don't think so. I'll play the pedal. If they have swords right now, I at least get another turn. Yeah, I think if they have swords now, they need to spend it. Yep, that's good. Okay, so I'm at 10. I can't beat another swords. So rather than playing something like, rather than getting bridge and like trying to prolong the game, I think I just go for the kill and say, you need to show me another swords or the game is over. And I don't know if I should hold up this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the mana is too tight. So I'm going to play painter and name blue. And then I'll just F6. Oh my god, they have bog in their hand. All right. Brutal. No blocks. Eat a Badger Mole Cub. It's free to do. Put it on painter. All right, this needs to be a heck of a top deck here. Yeah, you can make Marrowlage. I'm dead to your other thing, no matter what. Welder. So I'm dead. I could make a 3/3. Yeah. I'm dead. Okay, so against this deck, I definitely want removal. Kind of the same plan as last game. I didn't see any Knight of the Reliquary or anything like that, but I have to assume they have those. If they have Bog, they definitely have those. And I'm sure they have Oof, so I think getting rid of all the fast artifact mana is still a plan. Yeah, this might be going down quite a bit on mana, but just feels correct. I don't know, I could have gone down on the Cauldron as well. Got a mulligan. Got a mulligan again. All right, it's terrible Arena of Glory that's going to come into play tapped. I'll bottom this. I'll bottom this. I have to flute Wasteland probably. I hate preemptively fluting or needling Wasteland. Feels like a terrible play, but it's a forced play in this game. Reclaimer right away. Well, Cauldron at least gives me something to do. And again, having Devourer would be really, really nice. I just feel like if you're going to play Cauldron, you might as well play Devourer. This was the deck that won the challenge, so I wanted to play it card for card, but I just really feel like that's a missed opportunity. Okay, there's Saga. I can avoid paying life by tapping this for green. And unfortunately, they can probably assemble their combo too quickly to be able to needle Reclaimer. But the possibility exists. I also can exert Engineer next turn and get a like if they opt to make the Dark Depths in my upkeep or something like that, I can exert the Engineer Painter. Oh man, they're gonna get sketched out when I don't bin any cards. No, I don't think I put any cards away. So best case scenario, I think here would be that they make Marilade and block. Looks like that's what's happening. That taps them out of Reclaimer, but importantly, I got red. And now I can go red. I'm still dead to a swords, but I'm gonna exert Goblin Engineer. And they should swords there right now if they have swords. I'm also dead to Graveyard Hate. And I will go ahead and play out the Painter. And shouldn't really matter here. I don't know, maybe they're Abzan. I'll just name red. And then before they're holding up Reclaimer, I have to get in Ensnaring Bridge and sack, I guess, the Cauldron. Cauldron isn't really doing anything. So I'll be sure to just hit that for some value on the way out. Sack the Cauldron. I'm dead to Endurance or Crop Rotation. Yep. Okay, I'm dead. Good games. All right, well, fighting to stay alive with a 3-2, get my play points back, is not where I was hoping to be. All right, I'm on the draw for the last match, and this looks just okay. It's definitely not a hand I'm willing to mull, but it's not a hand that excites me really in the slightest. Right? Well, terrible is happening. Coffee, sure, I can Legion Extruder that immediately. Hope they don't Thoughtseize now. That would be so greedy of a line if that's what they went for. Are they just gonna leave that mana unspent? All right. I think it's pretty important to get rid of the Dothy. So I'm gonna do that. If they play Bobble, I assume they play Wasteland. It's probably just a Moon Shadow deck. And goodbye, Dothy. This could be another Dothy. That'd be quite annoying. Super Shredder. Okay, sure. Another Engineer. I wonder if they play Snuff out. Playing Painter would be helpful. I don't want to get Wastelanded. So I'll let them buff their Shredder. And I'll play Painter and I'll name Black. I could see this deck playing Snuff out. And this is just the most expendable of these creatures, so I would rather them use removal on that. I think if I get an Ensnaring Bridge down, I just win this game. So I might not be too shy about doing that. Into Turok. Okay. Well, those were the worst of the cards, but doesn't feel great. Well, there's Wasteland, so I'm glad I played how I did. And this thing does have Menace. Goblin Engineer. Again, yeah, I really just think get Ensnaring Bridge. I really doubt this deck has any outs to that. Lactite Stalker, that's going to come too late if you don't have other removal. Okay. Really unfortunate, actually. Ooh, that is so greedy if you don't have another land. because this costs 3 mana. That does make me think they probably have another land. Ooh, you know what? That's it right there. That was an excellent top deck. So I'll play this, play Cauldron, buff, Painter with Engineer, Ensnaring Bridge, sack Legion Extruder. I think I've just won the game. Push on Painter, that's okay. And they did have the other land. I figured they would, because losing the ability to activate this against a creature deck feels incredibly poorly a poor decision. Okay, so I'll play the Tomb. I'll play Engineer. This time I'll get probably, I could just get Grindstone. It's probably the fastest kill. Okay, and they scoop. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they were going to beat the bridge if it's a mono black deck. All right, against the mono black deck, I need to kill their creatures, so a Braid for sure. I don't know if I really have any other things to bring in. Maybe a Braid's in, Pyroblast out. Try that. I'll have to keep Dolphy off the board. All right, this hand looks good. I'm sure they're going to have something to say about what I'm doing. And a Dolphy would be quite bad. But I can overcome that. Like Fable could ditch the goblins if they have a Dolphy. If they do have a Dolphy, hopefully they have the decency to Dark Ritual it out so that I know. All right, a Stalker. So this needs to get a basic mountain, and then I will play out the Welder. I want them to have to respect that. Moon Shadows, sure. Dark Writ, sure. Dang, I had the Dolphy. All right, well, pushing my Welder after you had Dolphy doesn't feel that bad. It is in the void, so they could get it if they really want. Now the question is, do I play Saga? I think I do. I think they have a pretty fast clock there, so I need to get the show on the road. I'll ditch the Engineer. Okay, there's Grindstone. So I have the combo I care about still is now in my hand. So I'm impervious to Wasteland, sort of. I can also kill one of these things. Are you gonna name Saga? They'd be wise to name Grindstone. I can't block any of these things. Okay, they named Saga. That's fine. So I think the play then is Extruder. Kill. I have my picks. If I kill the Stalker, like if they're able to kill my Painter, I could also like go Extruder. Do I have Needle? Did I bring that in? I don't think I did. That was unwise. It's a shame I don't have another red source. By playing Tomb and going Painter, I do play around Wasteland, though not really because I won't have Grindstone in play to win next turn. I sort of need them to have nothing. Though, actually, I can play around Wasteland because this can get a Petal or Opal, which are still in my deck. So I can't beat a removal spell this way, but I can eliminate their on-board removal spell, name black in case they play Snuff Out. So if they Wasteland Tomb, I go mana, float for mana, get Mox Opal or something like that. Can't block any of this stuff. I wouldn't block anyway. Oh, Disruptor Flute. That's quite good. That's killer. Now I have to like draw a Braid, but if I draw a Braid, I win. Let's see. Furnace. Is there any way to not die? I can prevent myself from dying for a turn, but I can't tap the Tomb. I'll get Mox Opal, play Saga, play Fable, play Welder. He'll buy me 1 turn to draw a Braid, but can't even really do much about that. I could also draw Ensnaring Bridge, so there's plenty of reasons to keep playing, but it's looking rough. Okay, so I think I have to block here and here. If they have Bowmaster, I'm dead. I have things I can draw. Okay, they have Bowmaster. All right. I would have drawn a mountain. So, well, okay, I should have seen what the Fable was going to get. I think they have enough things that Pithing Needle could hit that would be good. I think that's better than 1 Cam. Cam has not, I don't think I've really comboed off much at all with that side of the deck this league, which is unfortunate. All right, so on the play, I really can't keep this hand. I mean, I could like Moxite, Basic Mountain, Moxite, put Defiler in the bin. It's just good enough. If Moxite doesn't hit though, like if it doesn't hit lands, I am really in trouble. My opponent at least has to mull pretty deep because they're on a mono black deck that's probably somehow worse than playing a mono red deck. We're both living the no cantrip life, but they're living the no cantrip and no tutor life. All right, Moxite, show me something good. I'll play Petal. I'll just play the Welder out. If they don't have removal right now for Welder, it's game over, probably. Well, they seem to not have removal for Welder. I'll play another one. All right, my opponent's cracking. Probably they have like a Surveil land in their deck, if I had to guess. Yeah. Doesn't seem like they actually play blue, but I think I've seen lists that are like this that only run Surveils as the selection effect. All right, they kept a card on top. Better be a pretty good one to get through double Welder, Chaos Defiler in the bin. Flute, really, really unfortunate. So yeah, I just have to get the Defiler on. And if I draw a land, I can get Engineer, and then Engineer will do a lot of work here. Then I can sack the Defiler, get rid of Flute, and then the Welders are back online. So this game is going to come down to if I can get a land basically right here. It's also possible I can just aggro them out from here. No land. At some point, they have to deal with the Defiler, though. Which means they have to deal with the Welders first. And I have them on a 2-turn clock. So if they had something like Barrogoyf, that would be really annoying. Dark Writ. Toxic Deluge. Oh my god. Well, at least I get to kill this thing. Pretty good. And a Moonshadow. No lands. Really brutal. No land. No land. No land. Well, this is a really bad ending to this game, to this league, and it's been a very disappointing league, but I'm just gonna scoop here. I can't beat this at this point. Yeah, so a 2-3. This deck has problems. It's very explosive, but you didn't really see that at all in this league. And I think one of the biggest problems, the first thing that I think has to be corrected, is there has to be more creature removal. Creatures completely tore up this deck this league. Like Dauthi Voidwalker is such a death sentence to this deck. And like Painter plus Pyroblast is not good enough. Only 3 Abrades in the sideboard, not good enough. And Abrade, I personally really don't like Abrade. I think it's very inefficient at 2 mana. I much prefer just having Lightning Bolt, though I can appreciate the flexibility. I paired into some really off-meta stuff including Mystic Forge, which has been really unpopular for a long time. And I mean, it's just my luck. I feel like I always pair into terrible matchups. That's my curse as a player. And yeah, just really brutal. And with Painter, what's annoying about it is you work really hard. Like there's no free wins. There's very few free wins. And you have to think really hard about your play and how it's all lining up. And you can get pretty mid results. So I'm pretty disappointed in the effort to result ratio of this league. I think this needs board wipes. Like Fury is one of the best cards you can play in red. So I think there needs to be some Furies in the board. If there's a way to get off 4 Ravenous Trap, that would be great. Card didn't come in. I mean, when you need it, I guess it's really good. But I was not happy with the sideboard here. I think you just need more specific stuff. You're also handicapping yourself a lot against blue to only have 3 Pyroblasts, and not having a great blue matchup or as good a blue matchup as possible feels counterintuitive to the Painter mentality. That being said, I think there was only one blue deck that I played against in this league, and I got the win against Show and Tell, which is a traditionally pretty bad matchup. I'm pretty excited about these cards, Sewer-Veillance Cam and Skateboard, and they both, Skateboard, there was a win that provided. Sewer-Veillance didn't really shine this league, but I feel like the explosiveness is there. So I don't want to discredit the deck too much. I would probably run it back with more, like at least one more Cauldron, probably Devourer. That might be better than Chaos Defiler. I think the 4 Moxite, 4 Sewer-Veillance is correct, but I could maybe see going down to 3 Sewer-Veillance because when it's not amazing, it's really pretty bad. I think this deck is a little short on blue sources. I could maybe see adding one. But yeah, I wish I got a better result to show off the deck, but it's a cool deck. I'll definitely keep trying it. And it's exciting to have some innovation happening in the Painter space. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.